Hello everyone, this is Group 2 and we're about to discuss about evaluating funds and adjusting portfolio.
Good day, my name is Jasmine Estepa, and the topic that I'm going to report is all about deciphering your fund statement. Deciphering simply means to understand or to analyze, so basically, my topic is all about understanding or analyzing fund statement. Every mutual fund company has its own statement design, but they all report the same type of information. So first, let me tell you what is a fund statement. Fund statement provides information about the changes of firm's financial position from one period to another period that usually been done annually. So dito sa fund statement, naka-indicate yung summary ng kung anong nangyayari sa money ng firms or companies because of different transaction na ginagawa nila. Fund statement is a statement that tells about the sources and application of funds in a business. And also, tinatawag din itong flow of funds or mas kilala bilang statement of changes in financial position. Fund statement shows a business cash inflow and outflow over an accounting period. Tinutukoy dito sa fund statement kung saan nagmula or nanggaling yung pera na ginagamit ng firm or company sa transaction nila and also kung paano nila ito ginagastos. One of the three financial statements that commonly used to analyze a company's overall performance. And these are the financial statements that are commonly used. The balance sheet, income statement, and also the fund statement. Next topic is the types of entries. These are the types of entries that you can find on typical fund company statement. First one is the trade date or date of transaction. It is the date that the mutual fund company process your transaction. Ito yung mismong araw na officially may ownership transfer na nangyari, or it is the date upon which any financial dealing occurs.
Good day, my name is Genevieve Y. Garcia and my topic is all about transaction description. Transaction description means collect the data and details about transaction. A mutual fund statement gives details about your investment, very similar to your bank account statement that tells you about your savings bank account. To begin with, it will have your personal details such as name, address, permanent account number or PAN, email address, mobile number, and nominee details, and also folio number. It is a unique number that has been assigned to your investment made with the mutual fund house. Most mutual funds offer one folio number for all investments. It is important that all the details are correct and there are no spelling mistakes to avoid any kind of dispute at the time of withdrawal. If there is more than one mutual fund account holder, it will also show details of the other account holders. You will also get a folio number that you can use to check about your fund in case of any problems or if you have any inquiries. In the transaction description column, you're likely to see a few things like annual maintenance fee charge, asset transfer. This term refers to a transfer of money into your retirement account from another investment company or bank. Capital gains reinvest, contribution, dividend reinvestment. This term simple means that the fund paid a dividend that you reinvest by purchasing more shares of that same fund in your account. Income dividend cash. If you are desired, you may receive your dividend as cash. The fund company can send a check to you or it can electronically deposit the money into your bank checking account. In transaction description, it's important to have amount. The amount column simply show the actual value of the transaction. Next is share price or price per share. The price share or price per share column show the price per share that the transaction was conducted at. Ito ang isang example ng mutual fund account statement, ang CAS or Consolidated Account Summary. Nakalagay dito sa baba ng CAS title ay yung date, sa baba naman neto yung personal details, sa baba ng personal details sa gilid nakalagay yung folio number, yung name, yung unit balance, yung net asset value date, net asset value, market value, at yung register. Ito yung summary of investments. Dito naman sa isang example, may kita natin yung scheme details. Ayan ulit yung folio number. And yung transaction type. And then, yung non-financial transaction. Ito naman yung mutual fund units. Kung saan nandito yung scheme name, ISIN, folio number, closing balance unit, net asset value, cumulative account invested, and yung valuation. Next natin ay itong transaction details or yung transaction summary. Dito naman may kita natin sa taas yung scheme details, which is yung folio number, ISIN, mode of holding, UCC, yung sa KYC of investor, mobile number, nominee, and email. And then sa baba nun, may kita natin yung date, transaction description, amount, net asset value, yung price sa unit. And then dun din ulit sa baba nun, may kita natin yung another transaction description. Ito, another example ulit ng mutual fund account statement. Medyo malabo siya pero nakita naman. So, yung sa taas ng gilid, nakalagay dyan yung personal detail niya. Ayan, yung nabanggit ko kanina. And then, yung sa kabila naman, ayan, yung folio number niya, state date, status, mode of holding, nominee PAN, and PAN number. And then sa baba nun, ayun, account portfolio, scheme, name, yan, yung investment, yung dividend, yung investment value, net asset value, and yung unit balance niya. And then sa baba naman, yung latest transaction, which is yung date, transaction type, amount, net asset value, price, unit, and unit balance. And then, ito naman yung example kapag individual account na transaction. Okay. Itong transaction summary, meron siyang date, yung description, gross amount, deduction, net amount, unit value, number of units that bought or sold, or unit and unit balance. And that's it, guys. Yun lang. Thank you po.
Hello everyone, I'm Nerd Garcia and I will be discussing about the share amount, share balance, and account value. Share amount or shares transacted. The share amount or shares transacted column simply shows the number of shares purchased or sold in a particular transaction. The number of shares is arrived at by default. The fund company takes the amount of the transaction and divides it by the price per share on the date of the transaction. So for example, you have $5,000 to invest in a bond fund and the value per share is $20, then it gets you 250 shares. Because the fund company takes the amount of the transaction and divides it by the price per share on the date of the transaction. So 5,000 divided by 20 is equals to 250. So if you look at the table in the first row, the transacted value is $10,000 and the value or price per share is $25.87. So 10,000 divided by 25.87 is equals to 386, and that is the transacted unit or the number of shares purchased. So next is shares owned or share balance. If money was added to or subtracted from your account, the share balance changes by the amount of shares purchased or redeemed and listed in the price section, share amount or shares transacted. So kanina sa share amount or share transacted, in my example, the type of transaction is buy, meaning the investor purchased shares and yun yung shares owned niya or share balance. Nagbabago ang share balance if the investor continued to purchase shares or if he decided to sell a portion of his shares. If you look in the table, you will see in the type column the type of transaction. Meron ditong buy, sell, split, and etc. So pag buy, it means you purchase shares, and if it is sell, it means you redeem shares. So we are now down to the last topic of my report, which is the account value. So typically on a different part of the account statement, separate from the line-by-line listing of your transactions, fund companies show the total account value or market value of your fund shares as of a particular day, usually at the end of a given month. This value results from multiplying the price per share by the total number of shares that you own. So for example, on October 1, 2020, the investor invested $5,000 in a bond fund and the value per share is $20 and it gets him 250 shares. And sabi ng fund company, pwede niya makita yung account value niya at the end of December 2020. At that specific day that the company gave him, kung ano ang market value ng mismong araw na yon, imumultiply sa total number ng kanyang shares. For example, yung market value on December 31, 2020 is $25 and the total of his shares are 250, so $25 times 250 is equals to $6,250. So nag-gain sa kanyang account. But if the market value is $19, so $19 times 150 is equals to $4,750, so nagkaroon ng loss sa kanyang account. And that's all for my report. Thank you for listening.
Good afternoon. I'm Luella A. Gonzaga and I will be reporting about interpreting discount brokerage firm statements. So let us first define discount brokerage. Discount brokerage is a business that allows clients to buy and sell securities but does not provide advice, research, planning, or other investment services. It is also used for buying and selling securities at a lower rate. Kaya nakakapag-offer yung mga discount brokerage firm ng securities at a lower rate dahil hindi sila nagpo-provide ng kahit anong investment services. And usually, yung mga clients dito have little to no interaction with the real broker. It also usually offers sophisticated online trading platforms that let customers order financial products such as stocks, bonds, and commodities. Isa ding dahilan why they were able to offer securities at a lower rate ay dahil nag-ooperate sila online, so di na nila kailangan gumastos pa ng mas malaki para sa business expenses. It is ideal for investors who trade frequently but don't need investment advice and have smaller portfolios. So if you're knowledgeable enough about investing, discount brokerage is definitely ideal for you. But if you're new in investment, you should choose full service broker because they provide investment services that will help you to grow your investment. In a discount brokerage statement, there is a portfolio overview section and an account transaction details. The portfolio overview section shows a summary of the value of each fund holding. So dito makikita yung list of funds galing sa fund companies kung saan meron kang investment. And the other section of a discount brokerage firm statement is the account transaction details. This section summarizes any transaction occurring on your fund holdings since the last statement. So dito naman makikita yung summary on how our investments are doing, if our investment is losing or gaining.
Good day everyone, my name is John Gib El Guadalupe and I will be discussing the topics about assessing your fund's returns, the total return of a fund, and dividends. So probably, the single most important issue that fund investors care about is how much or little they're making on their investment. What is the sense of investing? The main point of investing is to make money. That is why we need to assess ahead of time kung ang investment ba natin ay kikita or kung ito ay malulugi lamang. Ang fund returns ay hindi madaling malaman kung ikaw ay magbe-base lamang sa sinasabi ng mga fund companies sa iyo. It will be helpful if you know the tricks regarding what to look for and what to ignore. These are some tips to consider in investing. Number 1, review your needs and goals. Consider how long you can invest, make an investment plan, and check the charges. And now let us proceed to the total return of a fund. The total return of a fund is the percentage change in the overall value of your investment over a specific period. The best example for this are the securities increased by percentage of its original value due to a price increase. So for example, I invested 50,000 on the year 2020 and nakuha ko siya ng 57,500 on the year 2021. The price increase on its original value is 15%. That is the total return of the fund. These are the 3 ways to make money in a mutual fund: dividends, capital gains distributions, and share price changes. But I will focus on dividends because the next reporter was assigned to discuss the other ways on how to make money in a mutual fund. Dividends, or tinatawag ding profit payout, are income paid by investments. Both bonds and stocks can pay dividends. Ito ay maaaring mag-iba depende sa kung gaano kahusay ang isang negosyo. Ang rate ng dividends ay maaaring mag-iba depende sa kung aling industriya ito kabilang. Karagdagan ng isang kumpanya ay nagsisimula magbayad ng mga dividends sa mga shareholders kapag ang paglago ng kumpanya ay nagsisimula ng bumagal. Thank you for listening. I hope you learned something.
Good day everyone, my name is Benedicto Guevara and I will be discussing capital gains distribution and share price changes. So without further ado, let us all start. So capital gains distribution. Capital gain is an increase in a capital asset's value. It is considered to be realized when you sell the asset. When a stock or bond mutual fund manager sells a security in the fund, any gain realized from that sale. So meaning, sa anumang pagbebenta ng asset, whether stocks or bonds, ay kinukonsider na capital gains if it is sold for a price higher than the purchase. Otherwise, kung mas mababa ito ay tinatawag na capital losses. So for example, if a stock is purchased for $100 and later sold for $120, the capital gain is $20 since nabenta mo siya na mas mahal sa purchase price niya. Naka-realize ka ng profit or what we call the capital gains itself. And as with the dividend distribution, you can receive your capital gains in the form of money or cash. Or in some other cases, pwede mo rin siyang magamit and makuha to buy more shares in the fund para mas kumita in the long run. And with capital gains distribution, typically, it is done right before the end of the calendar year, which is the month of December. And now, let's talk about the share price changes. You also make money with a mutual fund when the share price increases. If your fund is worth more today than when you bought it, you have made the profit. Since share prices are changes every day by market forces, by this means, share prices change because of supply and demand. Alam naman natin na ang supply and demand has a great influence on any kind of stock or share prices. If more people want to buy share than selling it, then the price moves up. Conversely, if more people wanted to sell a stock or a share than buying it, the price would fall. What it is trying to say is that whenever you buy a share, you must be aware on the possibility of the price might fluctuate any moment. So as an investor, you must know how to assess your funds correctly. And if ever man na nakabili ka ng share or stock ng mas mababang presyo, and later on, nabenta mo ito in higher price, then that's good. Since pwede ka pa mag-invest in other securities for you to have a profit, not just sticking in one investment. So after you've seen all the different components of total return, you are ready to add them up all. For each of the major types of funds that I discussed earlier, this just represents a simple summary of where you can expect most of your returns to come from over the long term. Thank you for listening.
Good day everyone, my name is Jubilee May M. Javier and my report is all about focusing on the misleading share price. If you follow the price changes in your funds every day, weeks, months, or other time periods, you won't know how your fund is doing. The only way to figure out exactly how much you've made or lost on your investment is to compare the total value of your fund holdings today to the total dollar amount originally invested. But the question is, how often should I check on my funds? The best way to know your fund for its share price changes any moment is that through assessing the difference of your initial investment and the value of the fund today. Sinasabi dito na it's better na tingnan mo na lang yung difference ng initial investment at yung halaga ng fund mo ngayon kaysa yung aasa ka pa sa share price. So sabi nga, misleading daw yung share price kasi may times na bababa ang value ng share price pero dumami naman yung number of shares. So in the end, wala talagang nawala dun sa fund or walang lugi sa investment. For example, yung initial investment mo, yung value nung nag-start ka mag-invest. For example, yung initial investment mo is 1,000 noong 2018. Noong 2019, naging 2,000. Tapos ngayon, 2020, naging 3,000. So, itong 3,000 mo ay yung current value. So, as the time passed by, it increased by 1K and the succeeding year. So, the best way talaga para malaman kung kumikita ka is paghambingin ang initial investment at current value ng fund.
Hi, I am your next reporter, Marlette M. Largo, and my topic is about deciding whether to sell, hold, or buy more. So, how will you know if it's time to buy, hold, or sell your funds? Stick or hold onto your fund like a loyal friend as long as it is generating decent returns relative to appropriate benchmarks and the competition. So, if yung fund na hawak mo is, it generates lower return or may return pero hindi ganun kataas compared sa benchmarks or other funds in the same categories for 1 or 2 years and it is long term, 5 or 10 years for example, okay pa rin i-hold yun. Let's say nag-invest ka sa stocks. Ang time horizon is 5 years and chinek mo ngayon yung portfolio mo. May mga red or loss. Isasell mo ba agad yung stocks mo? For me, no, unless it is day trading, pwede mong i-consider na ibenta. But it is long term, so marami pang pwedeng mangyari sa loob ng 5 years and over time, mag-generate din ng gain yung stocks or funds mo. Next. Not raising the fees that it charges and not charging more than the best of the competition. Hanggat hindi nag-i-increase or nagbabago yung mga charges or fees sa fund, it is okay to hold your fund. So, for example, sa mga brokers, may mga brokers na nag-charge ng mataas and meron din yung sakto lang. So, pag hindi naman nagbabago or tumataas yung charges, hold your fund or stick to it. Next. Still managed by a competent fund manager. As long as may skilled fund manager na humahawak sa fund mo, there's no need to sell or let go of your fund. So, kailan mo i-consider na mag-sell ng fund? The only other reason to sell a fund is if your circumstances change. For example, There is a 50-year-old man na may enough money and nag-decide na mag-retire kahit na nung una wala pa siyang balak. Yun yung change in circumstances na sinasabi, na mas pinili niyang mag-invest sa mas malaking return na magkakos sa pag-tweak or pag-adjust ng portfolio niya. So basically, sinasabi lang dito na sell your fund if sa tingin mong mas may malaking return sa iba. That's all. Thank you.
Good evening, classmates. Good evening, teacher. My name is Jandan Elmaka and I'm going to tackle about handling bear markets. First, we need to define what bear markets is. Bear market is a period of time when the broader stock market declines by significant amount. It means na si market is nakaka-experience ng pagbaba ng mga presyo or price declines. Yung security prices is bumababa ng 20% or pataas pa compare before, which can cause economic downturn or pagbaba ng ekonomiya ng isang bansa. The first step on handling bear market is don't watch your funds too closely. Tracking your funds prices daily or even weekly is sure to make you a nervous wreck if you're doing so because you fear a market slide. Sinasabi dito na ang mga investors are prone sa two opposing but equally debilitating fears. Una dito is yung kapag na-missing out nila yung chances na times are good sa market. At yung isa naman is yung fear of loss when markets are volatile. Meaning to say, kapag ang stock market daw ay nagra-rises at bumababa sa more than 1% over the period of time, dito na nakakaramdam ang investor ng pagpapanik at nervousness. It tells that don't watch the market closely. According to Warren Buffett, sinasabi din nito na if they buy good companies, buy them over time. They're going to do fine. 10, 20, or more than 30 years from now. Instead na tumingin ka dito sa stock price, you better look and check dun sa earnings at dividends na makukuha mo, whether you made a good investment or not. The second step is see the glass as half full, not half empty. When certain types of funds that you own decline in value, don't get depressed. If you're still feeding a new money into purchases, or perhaps reinvesting distributions, remind yourself that your next purchases will be at lower prices. If you're retired and not making more purchases, you surely have the wisdom that good days and periods follow difficult ones. Be patient for improvement. In this step, expecting good things to happen will lead you to taking actions that produce positive results. Hindi mo kailangang ma-depress when your funds decline in value because it's just a part of the game in business world. Lagi mong titingnan yung mga good sides and opportunities na pwede mong gamitin in your next investment. Also be patient for improvement because everything takes time. Hindi agad-agad nakukuha. Just like an investment, hindi araw-araw panalo or Pasko. What I mean is, nakukuha mo yung target goal mo. Remember na once you enter for investment, you should face and accept all the risks. It takes many steps, don't be too fast. And according to research, seeing the glass half full not only makes you happier, it makes you healthier and wealthier. Third step is look at your portfolio's performance, not individual funds. The whole point of diversifying is so that some of your funds may go up while others are down. So when some of your funds do decline, remember to assess the performance of your entire portfolio, and you may be pleasantly surprised that things aren't as bad as you may have thought. Keeping tabs or looks on your portfolio is an important part of investing. It helps you para malaman ng investor kung ano yung mga importanteng bagay na kailangan niyang i-adjust for investments. Also, tinutulungan niya rin si investor to stay on track sa mga financial goals niya. Always remember that you need to assess the performance of your entire portfolio, not on individual funds. May times kasi na akala mo sobrang laki ng kailangan mong i-adjust for your investments, pero hindi naman pala once na chinek mo yung buong portfolio mo. The last step is buy value in different assets if you dislike volatility. Stock funds that focus on value-oriented stocks tends to be less volatile. You can also dampen the gyrations in your portfolio by investing in different types of assets, bonds, real estate, and so on. Dito naman, pumapasok si volatility. Ito yung range ng price change security experiences over a given period of time. So kung yung price is hindi nagbabago or stable, yung mga securities ay mayroong low volatility. Masasabi mo naman na high volatile ang mga securities kung ito ay biglang nagbabago at biglang taas at biglang baba ulit. So if you want to experience less volatile, you should focus on value-oriented stocks. Ito yung mga stocks na ang price is lower than the value of the company and its assets. So as investor, much better na bumili ng value-oriented stock kasi ito yung mga stocks na mayroong cheap valuations na may malaking chance na ma-meet yung target earnings at may long-term growth potential. Sinasabi din na ang value stock ay mayroong steady, predictable business models na kayang mag-generate or gains in revenue and earnings over time. May chances rin na yung mga value stocks with companies is nagde-decline. Pero kahit yanon, their stock price is low. That is understates the value of their future profit potential. So less volatility.
I'm Ayla Mergy Manong and I'm going to report about dealing with fund company consolidations. Consolidation happens when two or more companies merge to become one. So yung consolidation, para lang siyang combination of several companies into a single or larger organization. It is also known as amalgamation. Business consolidation is most often associated with mergers and acquisitions. A merger is a legal consolidation of two entities into one, whereas an acquisition happens when one entity takes ownership of another entity's stock, equity, interest, or assets. So, ito yung example ng fund consolidation. Para mas madali niyo maintindihan kung nanonood man kayo ng startup, nung in-acquire yung Tusto yung Samsung Tech, isa rin yung example ng fund consolidation. Financial firms, including fund companies, have been known to put deposits into the wrong account or to lose track of certain accounts altogether. During the transition period, be vigilant about ensuring that your account information, including recent transactions and current balances, is correct. So may mga times talaga na nakikredit yung deposit mo sa ibang account. Kaya pag nangyari yan, ito yung mga dapat mong gawin.
Hi, I'm Julian Armarata. For the last topic is all about tweaking your portfolio. So first, define muna natin yung tweaking. Ang tweaking daw is making a slight change, improve, pwede din, or adjustments. Meaning, we should adjust our portfolio to keep our investments mixed in line with our desires. So, paano? For example, at the age of 40, you invest 80% of your retirement money in stock funds with the balance in bonds. And by the age of 45, your stock funds more like 85% sabihin natin. Which is tumaas and which is good thing then because we want our stocks to grow, diba? So on the flip side though, that our portfolio now has more risk than you initially allocated. Yung 85% stock fund will probably go down in 75% of our money in stock funds. So, anong gagawin natin para maiwasan yung ganitong pangyayari? The solution is simple. You should sell some of your stock funds to reduce your stocks holdings to 75 of the total invest. Sa madaling salita, we should rebalance to achieve our ideal stock or bond mix. So, yung 80% na ininvest natin na nag-increase into 85%, which is yung portfolio natin is naging riskier, we should sell the 5% of our stock holdings and buy bonds with the money. That's the example of rebalancing na sinasabi. So, rebalancing means selling some stocks and buying some bonds, vice versa, so that the most of the time your portfolio's asset allocation matches the level of returns you're trying to achieve and the amount of risk you're comfortably taking. That's all. Thank you.